There was something odd about Microsoft's xCloud demo yesterday. Let's take a closer look. What's up, everybody? Brad here. And yesterday, Microsoft held their Inside Xbox event where they talked about the Master Chief Collection, their new translucent white controller, a bunch of other good stuff. But the thing that everyone seems to be latching onto at this time is Microsoft's demo of xCloud. And so what I've done is I downloaded the clip and I've chopped it up a bit so we can get a closer look at what Microsoft actually showed, because there's a lot of controversy or whatever you want to call it around, was this pre-recorded, was this canned, was the latency really bad? And I think it's worth diving into. And at first I'm just going to play it back in real time, and then I've clipped out a couple sections that we're going to watch in really slow motion to try to get a better understanding of what's going on. So here it is in real time. And now don't mind some of the transitions because I hacked out the parts that aren't relevant, but here you go. Take a look.
Horizon 4 here. It looks amazing.
Yeah, this is Forza Horizon 4 running on our Project xCloud hardware in the data center, being streamed remotely to this Android phone.
So all the heavy lifting basically is done elsewhere, and it's literally, this is, wow. This is going to completely change every commute I ever make from now on. And honestly, being on the London Underground is depressing sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to look people in the eye, and now I won't have to.
Well, I think you might attract a bit of attention if you were to play that today.
They'll be like, oh, what is this new technology? It looks incredible. I can't believe this. This is a...
So as you can see, there's something from that. It just doesn't feel right. It's hard to put your literal finger on it, but when we start to slow things down, we can kind of understand. So what I've done here, there's two sections, and this is going to be played back at 25% of real time. So really, really slowing it down. And I want to kind of walk through what we might be seeing or what Microsoft has done, because something is clearly off here. So watch as she starts to steer up here. So you can see she holds it to the right and not much reaction, but then she holds it much longer, and you can look at how long it takes that vehicle to react. Now, that is typically just known as latency, but is it saying that this is potentially a canned demo or anything else? Now, Julia Hardy on Twitter is saying, no, this was live, but there's something off here, because watch again as she holds that thumbstick to the right. When she's trying to steer, you can see how long it takes the vehicle to respond. Now, there's a lot of things at play here. There's Bluetooth between the controller and the Android device. Then obviously there's a connection between that Android device and xCloud. And so we don't quite know what is going on, but there's clearly some significant latency here. And her controller style doesn't really help us figure this out, because one, I can't say I fully approve of how her thumb is resting on that stick, but more importantly, on her right trigger, she is like feathering the throttle. And so it's not a consistent real like drive, so we can't see the acceleration, but you can watch the miles per hour in the bottom right and watch it as it times up to her finger. Like it's not instantaneous from when she's pulling that trigger to seeing the car speed up. So there's something off here, and Microsoft isn't telling us if this was a canned demo, if this was just video playback or what. Now here's the other scenario, same speed. You notice when she crashes, you can see that she presses to the right on the thumbstick, and it takes a while again for that vehicle to react. Now you could argue that, hey, it hit the car in front of her and then that's what's pushing her right or something like that, but again, just noticing that from when she tries to avoid the wreck, it's not, the game doesn't feel like it's reacting instantaneously like you would expect on a localized system. Or is it? Now, I walked through all those demos for a couple reasons. One, I had previously made all this stuff and actually published it briefly, but after getting a little bit more information, Agnostic Priest over on Reset Era forums was able to recreate what was shown on stage locally. And if you look at it, it basically kind of vindicates what was shown. And when they were saying, hey, it was live, if you look at this localized play of a very similar section of the game, yeah, it looks almost identical. You can see the controller inputs are over-exaggerated. The content on screen is under-exaggerated, meaning it looks like you're putting a lot more input in and it takes a while, and the latency. What I'm trying to say here, guys, is it actually really does look like it was authentic. And maybe Forza wasn't the best game to show it off because of the way Forza is, the mechanics of Forza plays out. So what's the bottom line here? I don't actually think Microsoft faked it. Seeing how it works localized like this, it kind of explains the awkwardness. Now, it didn't help that she wasn't particularly great at the game, which, you know, everybody games differently. I'm terrible at Forza. I can only drive into walls, so I'm not going to judge her on that. But when you add that on top of sort of the awkwardness of how it looked, it made for a false looking demo. But again, looking at the additional content here, especially knowing that this is 100% localized gameplay, it matches up very similarly to the demo on the Xbox Insider, which brings us full circle to, yeah, this looked like a pretty authentic demo of xCloud. I think this will hopefully subdue some of the hatred that is floating around or the skepticism. And so we will learn more about xCloud here in the near future. Until now, or until next time, guys, have yourselves a good one.